And welcome back to pregame.tv. Ken Thomson sitting in the host seat for some apparent reason with who is this guy? Bryan Leonard. Unbelievable. He makes it back to pregame.com, pregame.tv videos. BL, it is good to see you first off, and hoping you had a good time away. I know there was some personal stuff you had to take care of with Pops, and hopefully everything's going well with the family. But more importantly, good to have you back in Vegas. Good to have you back on the videos, bud.
I appreciate that. It's good to see everybody, and it's good the football's here.
Yeah, that, and of course, Brian, a Clevelander. I mean, everything going right for that city right now. You got LeBron there, looking like you're building a good, solid squad around him. And, of course, Johnny Football, and he debuts Saturday against Detroit. That's right.
That's right. A lot of exciting things in Cleveland, so it's good for that city. And I was actually back there when they made the LeBron announcement, so it was nice. Everybody's excited, a little bit of excitement in Cleveland for sports, and that hasn't happened very often.
BL, college football, I know you and I love it big time. You're the MAC man, as you're known around pregame. You're the guy that knows the Mid-American Conference better than anybody. Talk to me a little bit real quick before we get rolling on this video, what it's like to have college football, NFL football right around the corner.
Yeah, it is. In fact, ever since I've come back, I've been running around town trying to get these games of the years in. I was out of town when they opened them up, but there was still some value out there, so I've been running around getting those in. I've had my power ratings done for a while, so I'm really excited. I'm looking over the schedule right now. First week of college football, I still see value in 11 football games. Now, obviously, I'm probably not going to release that many. I may bet that many.
Right.
But there's still value out there, and that's one of the things we're going to talk about in a later video.
Over-unders, did you do much as far as futures?
I have not done the over-unders this year, just did not have the time to do it.
Okay, because I know a lot of guys like to do this, especially in the NFL. I know it's tough for me, and a lot of times I'll wait with the college football. Even though I may not get the best of the number, you're still able to do your homework, and you're able to find out some of these guys end up getting suspended. Some of these guys that you think from the magazines are going to be there, they're not going to be there. So sometimes it is better to wait. Yeah,
it's if you make your power ratings ahead of time, you can turn that into what their winning percentage should be on that game. A team has a 95% chance of winning on a certain spread, and you can come up with your over-unders for the season. Unfortunately, because I was out of town, a lot of people took the good numbers out. And instead of fighting for that, I'll deal with the local companies here, the Hilton, the Golden Nugget, Cantor Gaming, the ones that put out the games of the year. Don't have to worry about the offshores.
There you go. Okay, now the game I'm looking at here is Carolina at home, their first preseason game, going up against Buffalo, who's in the Hall of Fame game against the Giants. So Buffalo, a game under their belt. Didn't look too smooth, and I think Doug Marrone, a little snake bitten there as Ryan Nassib, the guy that he coached in college with Syracuse, he kind of passed on. Nassib had the big pass that proved to be the difference of the game. I don't think he was particularly pleased the way his team played. He said they didn't really show a lot of heart in the game.
Yeah, it's the second year now in Buffalo, and coming off of that game, usually the teams that play in that game have a big advantage. They've got 5 preseason games. Buffalo's a team where they were really excited. They draft the wide receiver. He doesn't have any catches in the first game. I usually like to play on a team coming off of that, especially if they're favored in that game and lose, which was the situation with Buffalo.
And what about these games? Because when you look at Buffalo, like you said, 5 games, when do they start playing these starters? Now, you're talking about an E.J. Manuel was just 2 of 7 for 19 yards, talking about C.J. Spiller with just 1 carry for 2 yards, and then you talked about Sammy Watkins, no catches, 0 yards. You want to start getting some type of continuity at game speed. Understand it is preseason as opposed to real season, but still you want to be able to get something so you can kind of simulate it and get an idea of what you've got.
Yeah, definitely. And that's one of the things that's somewhat of a disadvantage for us. We're taping on Tuesday. These games are going off later on in the weekend. A lot of the information comes out in that time where coaches will come out and say how long they're going to play their starters for, how long they're going to play second string for, that kind of thing. Sometimes when we're doing these videos early in order to get them up for the clients, we don't know all the information. But then again, we're able to take advantage of the current line. Now, we saw today, this being Tuesday, the game's being played, or today's Thursday, excuse me. Right. The game's being played today had some nice line movement going on today. Well, if you had that information earlier in the week, it would have helped you. But now you got to go off of what the lines are. So if you wanted a certain line before, you played it early, you're in great shape. But if you play it late, you got better information. But then again, it hurts you in the line a little bit.
Now, you and I don't do a real lot as far as preseason. Right. We listen to some of the other guys that have been successful as far as preseason. My good pal Chuck Edel. Chuck's been playing preseason for a long time. I used to laugh. I used to say it's like betting the WWE. But then I realized when you do your homework, you are able to find out sometimes some tidbits as far as who's playing starters longer, different things that teams are focusing on. And, you know, when you have a quarterback controversy or a quarterback fight battle like Cleveland's got Saturday with Manziel and Hoyer, you may tend to see a higher level of play for the entire game.
Yeah, you definitely do. And a lot of times when you have that, the coaches will want to put their quarterbacks in a situation where they're playing with the same players behind them, because it's hard to judge when you're playing first string, second string.
Right.
Now, Cleveland's going about it a different way, and we'll get into that a little bit later. But that's something you want to take a look at, because when you do have two guys, you want to have them on equal footing. You don't want one guy playing with the first string, second guy playing with the second string. And if the second guy doesn't look as good, well, obviously he didn't have as good of people around him.
All right, Buffalo is on the road against Carolina. They are minus a 1.5. This is going to be my play. This game will come up on Friday night. So let's go ahead. Let's make it official. And Brian and I talked about it a little bit, about having that first game under the belt. And again, Doug Marrone not real happy with the way that the Bills played. And again, we understand it is the Hall of Fame game, but still, I think he's going to look for a lot more from his guys. I think Manuel will get more time. I think Spiller and Watkins will be more part of the offense. The defensive team, not too bad. They had 5 tackles for loss. That's always good. Randall Johnson was solid. Ladler pretty good. Cohen pretty good as well. And Kyle Williams had the only sack. Mario Williams played well also on the defensive side of the ball. I was impressed with Bryce Brown, the guy that came over from the Philadelphia Eagles. If he holds onto the football, he'll be a key contributor there for the Bills this season. Toole, Lewis, Manuel, that's the way they went as far as playing time. I think Manuel gets some more time, like I said. I know Kiko Alonso out for the year. That will hurt, but I still like Buffalo having that experience. Carolina, on the other hand, it looks doubtful that Cam Newton will play, so that's another advantage for the Buffalo defense. And I also think you're going to try and see some continuity developed by the running game. I think Ron Rivera will look at D'Angelo Williams, Stewart, Tolbert, and Kenyon Barner to all get some action there, run the ball a little bit. I still think they have a chance to put some points on the board, but I like Buffalo having that experience. Greg Olsen, of course, solid tight end. Kotchery, Avant, those guys have to step up as well, receiving core-wise. So we'll see who gets them the ball. Derek Anderson, Joe Webb, Matt Blanchard. Those are your quarterbacks there for Carolina. I'm going to take a shot. I'm going to look at Buffalo minus the 1.5. The line opened at -1, and they're up to -1.5 right now. So give me the team with the game under their belt. Again, nothing major, a one-unit play for me. I kind of pick and choose my spots as far as exhibition games. I listen a lot to my pal Chuck Edel, to Fez as well. Fez gave me a bunch of totals, and they went up 2-3 points, a lot of them. So again, it just depends when and where you play the games. A lot of times you've got to get on those totals early out the gate. Last year, the opening weekend, as far as preseason football, 11-4 to the overs. But that's my play. I'll make it official. I'll go with Buffalo minus a 1.5 over Carolina, despite the Panthers being at home, Brian.
Yeah, we didn't talk about the Panthers side of this. And you keep in mind, next week they're on national TV, on Fox TV against Kansas City. So you hate to see they have a look ahead, but that game may be a little bit more important, a national televised game. And, you know, Ron Rivera, winning in the preseason isn't important. They're coming off a 12-4 season. This is a team that expects to be back in the playoff chase again this year. Obviously, the Bills coming off of that game that they did not look very well. The game's going to mean more to them in this game. So I'm with you. I'm not big on first week preseason, but this is one of the games I was looking at myself.
The loss of Steve Smith, the loss of LaFell, how big are those losses for that offense?
Well, they are. But when you've got a quarterback that's able to scramble a little bit, I think it's a little bit different, because, and we'll see that when we talk about the Cleveland, you see a lot more broken plays that way. And a lot of times, you know, you got a quarterback that scrambles a lot. You know, take a look at Michael Vick. The games he did very well was when he scrambled and they were broken plays. So we may see a little bit more of that out of Carolina.
All right, there you have it. First game, pregame.tv in a while for us. Brian and myself, we have not been together for videos for a long time, but we are there. I'm going to go with the Friday night play, Carolina at home against Buffalo, and give me the Bills. Minus the 1.5. We'll come back with a Saturday play. It is the Johnny Manziel opener. He will not start. Brian Hoyer will start, but we'll see where Brian leans on this game as Detroit hosts Cleveland, and we'll get that play next on pregame.tv.